Hey, folks. How you doing there, Rob?
Pretty good. How you doing today, Casey?
Oh, doing all right. Getting a little bit damn cold up down here and for me.
Yeah. Where are you?
Yeah,
Where are you going? Calling in from?
I'm down in Texas, but it's down
Oh,
in the 40 degrees now. It's
okay.
starting to get a little cool in the shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's we're getting ice right now in Pittsburgh.
Nope, I don't do ice.
How's it going, Patrick?
I'm actually not Patrick. I'm Drew, but let me
Oh,
change
Drew.
my. Yeah, we have he's the default name in our MakerMade account.
Makes sense. Not put anything.
Yeah, hey, nice to meet you, Rob. How's it going, Casey?
Going all right. Still waiting on the destructions there for the runout sensor on the
Yes,
the
it
300.
got crazy here trying to get everything prepped for the snow because I had to bundle up stuff and take it over here. I was going to work on that at the shop at the end of this week, and I got moved. But hey, good news is I've been doing Makerverse stuff on Makerverse 2.0, so I've been working on that. So yeah, I'll get that together. I'm hoping to have that completed because I wanted to have it all together as one piece instead of having, it's kind of sporadic right now. So you can go through the whole process and give me feedback on how it is. Hey, Drew.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm my fancy shed. It's so cold in Texas. The ice skating rink closed today. I'm like, what? That's when we're supposed to be open.
Why do you need an ice rink if it's cold enough to ice skate outside?
I know I can ice skate on my trampoline, my kid's trampoline right now. It's funny. How y'all doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Man, I got my little heat pads over here.
Oh yeah, it's been we've got 4 inches of snow on the ground now, and
that's so awesome.
it's supposed to be another 4 to 5, maybe more. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And when it snows here in Arkansas, it's just everything shuts down. It's
it's so funny. In the town I grew up in Colorado, we had 2 years where it snowed on the 4th of July.
Oh my God.
So
can't catch a break. Yeah.
I think we had 6 feet of snow when I had to take my driving test when I was 16. So yeah.
Well, yeah, this is just an open forum for everybody to ask questions. I'm Drew from MakerMade. So nice to meet you all. If you haven't been here before. And yeah, we'll just here to ask questions and see what's going on, advice, projects, and just chit chat and help get you going or give you some advice. So yeah,
Awesome.
We got any questions?
Do you have a weatherproof outdoor version of the M2?
Man, I wish. So my shop is not heated nor insulated. I haven't insulated it yet. So I have to take a space heater out there. So I can't, normally I'm in the shop right now, but yeah, I can't, everything is too cold.
You know what you need? Yeah.
It's 10 degrees outside right now. I can't do it.
So get you one of these. This little guys, go on Amazon, and you can use them indoor. The Buy Buddies, I tested it. I have a carbon monoxide and everything else detector in there, and I have mine sealed up good. I ran it and nothing, no problem, and it warms it.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely. It's not so bad. I put an air conditioner in there for the summer, and I don't mind the heat. I run kind of cold-blooded anyway, so I can be in there when it's 100 degrees and just sweat. I don't care as much. But if it's cold, nope. I just can't think about anything else.
I had a screenshot of -2 the other morning, and I was able to go out and turn everything on and run it just fine. So
yeah, well, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah. So is it you have your M2 in a different building, or is it in your garage, or where is it?
It is out in my garage. And in fact, if you don't mind, I'm going to switch. I'm probably going to go out there. I had my computer all set up in my basement here so I could kind of do a workflow from either Inkscape or OpenCAD to Inkscape or vice versa. And then from there to the MakerMade. But I kind of, maybe I should go out to the garage first and show you where I'm set up and how everything's going so far. Maybe that'll be helpful for all of us.
Where do you live?
Sure.
I'm in Pittsburgh.
Man,
Oh,
I
yeah.
miss having
So you
basements.
definitely know what it's
We don't
called.
have basements in Texas.
No. Yeah, I know that. I moved from Dallas back in 1987. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So
All
right now, I've turned our dining room into part of workshop. And then I built two buildings out back, and then Bixie. And then the garage, you're not gonna laugh at. So my garage right now is
Dude, that's where I was like 3 weeks ago. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good, Rob. We'll see you in a bit.
Yeah. So, and part of our living room.
You're in full construction mode right now, man.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm like super prepper. I got a log splitter. I even have
no axe for you, man.
500
Is it cold in Texas right now?
Yeah,
how are you guys doing?
It's freezing. We got ice everywhere right now. It's all frozen.
Yeah. Is it frozen where you are, Casey?
No, it's about 40 degrees here. I mean, I got the heater on in the shop.
He's in Houston. He's by the water.
It's it's cold enough to the heater isn't keeping up as much as it can, so it's just running like crazy. But
let's see if we can see the icicles. Yeah, we got icicles.
Yeah, because you usually see in a t-shirt when you're in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, does anybody have any questions? Bob or Ching or anything you want to share?
No, not specifically. It's just been a couple weeks since I've been on, so I thought I'd join and see what's going on.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, nice to meet you, Bob. They're one of my favorite names. I like 3-letter names. I can remember them.
Yeah, it's an easy one to remember. It goes both ways.
Yeah, so Ching, you live in the Arctic Circle? That is wild. Were you stationed there? That's cool.
He's in the Arctic Circle?
Yeah, he just put in the chat there. Yeah, that's wild. I can't imagine.
That's so awesome.
I cannot imagine. That's probably pretty awesome though. I hope you got to see some penguins, some polar bears. So aircraft carrier. Oh wow. Yeah. So frigid. Yeah. Did you have to work outside? Were you stationed outside? That would be nuts. You're like, pulling the planes in or something. Yeah. Dang. So yeah, just is there anything in particular? Slide deck. Oh man. Yeah.
What's new and exciting happening that I've missed out, Drew? That would be good for the whole community.
So Ching just asked, he's new and looking to get started. So do you have any specific questions? Like, do you have your frame built, your M2 built? 1 millimeter. Oh, that's awesome. Well done. That's fantastic. So have you created any files yet or cut anything on it? Or just gone through the calibration process? Need a starting point. Okay, sweet. So we have on the calibration guide that we have, we've got some introduction to Easel. So Easel is a program that you can do because basically you have to create a G code that the M2 can run. And before you can create a G code, you have to have a file that's a digital design. So you start with a design, and then that design is turned into a G code, and then that G code is translated into the programming language that, which is what G code is, that the M2 runs. So that's kind of like that workflow process. And then once you have that G code, you put that in Makerverse, and then Makerverse runs that G code. It runs that M2, and it will kind of go through that process and that step. So, and you have a laser too. So have you worked with lasers in CNC before? Maybe type something out. Or as you're getting that typed out, oh, okay. So I'm not sure about what you like camera. I'm not sure what combat camera. I'm not sure what that is. Do one of y'all know what that is? And if you know graphics, like graphic design, that's perfect. One of the main things that we recommend is doing like an SVG file. So if you can create an SVG file in like Inkscape or Illustrator, then from there, that SVG, you can turn into G-code in something like Carbide Create or Easel. So Easel and Carbide Create are two different examples of G-code programs. And then you'll take that G-code and run it on the M2 itself.
Got it.
Ah, okay. So yeah, with that, we've got some Casey's got some videos too on how to do that from SketchUp as well. He's got one that kind of shows his SketchUp flow. And then we have one too that I was planning on posting this week that we also have. That's a video of kind of taking something in Inkscape and putting it in Makerverse too, and like how to shape something out, turn it into an SVG graphic, and then put it out there as well. But there's tons of awesome tutorials on like creating SVGs in Inkscape or Illustrator or something like that you can use. And then those basic settings that we have in the in Easel that you can set, we've got some like different maxims and stuff that we can talk about for your G code to make sure that those are kind of like you have a good baseline for, and then you're get going.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. I know I'd seen a couple of things about people that had created like the calibration cubes with like even the inside miters where, you could tape the edges together and pretty much, a couple of dots of super glue and you should have a perfect cube. And that tells you like, all right, I've done everything correctly. But that sounds like it might require tool changes or something that may be above my ability so far.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
I would be good with that. I would say that you can, once you've got Makerverse calibrated and it says that you've got a calibration that's and something that you're comfortable with, like we say like under 3 millimeters is good to do a lot of stuff. But if you want to do some like press fit furniture or stuff that is really requiring some like higher and closer accuracy dimensions, then you can kind of tune it down and calibrate it there a little bit more. And then once you get it kind of honed in, then like cut out like a relatively simple project that you can measure. And then just measure, the dimensions of your project and make sure that it is where you want it to be. So a big tip on that too is make sure that you're going to cut, if you cut on the outside of your lines. So then you can measure for, that inside to make sure that, you're not cutting right on the line, because that bit diameter is going to change your measurement.
Right. And I come from Illustrator. I don't have Illustrator anymore. I'm not paying $50 a month for it, but is that a setting when you're setting up like where that bit runs, or is it, that you have to have a 1/8 inch offset or? So
that's a good question. You can use Inkscape, which is similar to Illustrator. It's got a lot of the same features and it's free.
I just downloaded it.
So awesome. Yeah. So then once you have that, you'll put that in your G-code creator, and then what your G-code creator will ask you, like, do you want to cut on the line, inside the line, outside the line, and those types of questions, or do you want to clear out the whole pocket, or and all those different types of aspects of how you actually want to cut your file. Those choices are all given to you in that G-code program.
What about I know that one of someone's concerns early on was like, well, how do you keep the piece from falling out if you you add tabs in? Is there like a little STL file for tabs that you can just like insert into a project and copy paste wherever you need them? So in Easel, it will automatically add the tabs for you, and if you pay, you can kind of add more, and you can kind of like place them a little bit, but you can drag them around once they're in there. You can drag around where the tabs are, and you can choose how many tabs are there. So you can drag them around and choose their diameter and stuff like that. So you can say that on my sign, I want to have these two holding it on the bottom and this one on top, and some different things like that. And I know, Casey, you cut out a lot of stuff with tabs. You got any advice for tabs or making a project with tabs?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing with using tabs is to make sure that whenever you place your tabs, you you'll only get tabs in Easel when you ask for a full through cut. So if you have you set the cut dimension to go all the way through the wood, then a little box will pop up right underneath that depth adjustment that if you click the box, it says use tabs, then another box pops up and it says how many tabs and what are the widths, heights and widths of the tabs. So I have a standard, I set it 6 and 6 for everything. I just know that 6 and 6 works for me. I usually cut 3/4 millimeter. And even whenever I do cut something like 1 inch, 6 and 6 seems to work really well. The other thing is you can, on the drawing itself, when you click on using tabs, you'll see the little yellow dots on where the tabs are. You can add more tabs, or you can say, you know what, I only need 2 tabs. I don't need 4. You can go ahead and just put in there number, I only want 2 tabs. But what I try to do is I make sure that you can actually grab those little dots and move them around in the cut. And I try to move them to an area that is perfectly flat. That way I have one of those little oscillating cutters. Whenever it's still up on the board and I know the tabs are holding everything in there, I use a cutter and just zoom right through them. So then
I use a 3D printer scraper and a hammer and like, bah.
There's minimal sanding, minimal cleanup. That little cutter takes care of it right off the bat. And then all I can take my piece off the spoil board and it's ready to go, minus a little bit of touch-up post-processing work. But that's
Casey, do you have Easel Pro or do you just use the free version? Okay.
I use the free version. The only thing that Easel Pro gives you, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that say a lot of things, but honestly, the only thing that I've seen Easel Pro gives you, it gives you the ability to do rough cut and then fine cut. So you can get checkouts, right? If you have a big cutout that you're doing and you're going to mill out, you're going to cut out a large section, not just cut through, but I mean, you're going to mill out a large piece, let's say halfway through the wood. Well, you might want to use a 1/4 inch bit for that, right? It's less cut time. And then whenever you go to do some fine detail in there, you want to go to a 1/8 inch bit. So it gives you the ability to do 2 bits. Now, here's the funny thing, only 2 bits. So you can't go from a V groove then to a 1/8. You know, you can't go from a 1/4 inch mill out to a 1/8 and then to a V groove. You can only do 2 bits. To me, it's junk. It doesn't do me any good. So that's one version of that paid pro version. The other thing is you get to save custom bits in there. Again, for me, I don't have custom bits. I buy off the shelf. They are what they are, and that's what I use. So I've done a lot of cutting, a lot of milling over the years. And to be honest with you, I very rarely have any kind of special bit to do anything. Unless I'm cutting metal or plexi, then it's a different style of bit altogether. But so I've been using the free version forever, and it works just fine. All the apps down the side, it's got a box maker. You were talking about doing a box to see if you were calibrated.
That's it.
I used the box maker to make all 6 sides, right? I did a box maker with all 6 sides, and I had the dog bones cut in it using a 1/4 inch bit, and I just made a little 10 by 10 box. And that'll tell you how accurate your machine really is. You see the numbers, you see all that stuff, but I cut all those pieces out in the center of my frame on the spoil board. And then I took all the pieces out and I fit them all together. Were they too loose? Were they tight? Were they just perfect fit? And then from there, you can kind of adjust. And then you can actually look at your drawing and say, you know what? I could have cut on the outside of the line, or I should have cut more on the inside of the line, or I should have adjusted my dimensions. You can actually decide whether or not it's a drawing issue or if it's actually the M2. But that's a way to do a calibration, a test calibration on a physical piece on your machine. Those dog bones, right? The dog bones and the press bits, everything. Those should be a specific type. I mean, you should be able to press them together, but not be so tight you can't get them apart and you got to hammer them together. So just how are they? And if you just make, 6 boxes with squares that go like this. If you put that into Easel, there's actually an app that'll create the dog bones in those for you.
Oh, I think I saw that. I think
I
noticed
dog
that.
bone it's a box generator or dog bone generator. You click on that and that automatically adjusts everything and puts in the little offset cuts in the corners, the inside corners for you. It does all that. So what you were saying earlier, there is a way to check your physical calibration, see if it meets your needs. Because let's be honest, not everybody needs 1 millimeter or whatever of accuracy. If you're cutting signs that big letters, like I have a couple of companies here in Houston, they own M2s and I work with them when they're having problems with their system. They cut these giant 5-foot letters that they do for birthday parties. They're all lit up with LED lights. They're awesome.
That's wild.
Well, if they're within 2 millimeters of accuracy on a 5-foot letter A, is anybody going to know you're out by 1 millimeter? You won't even see it visually by the human eye. You can't see it, right? So you got to ask, do you need 3 millimeter accuracy? What do you need, right? You don't need 1 millimeter accuracy every time. So it depends on if you're cutting, if you make furniture and stuff like I do, you need a little tighter accuracy, right? If you're just cutting out letters or you're doing signs for people's front yards or whatever, most of the time 3 or 4 millimeter accuracy is just fine because you can't see it. You don't have straight lines and straight fits. It's more circles and ovals and curves. You can't tell that you're out on your accuracy. So
sure,
it's really what project you're doing. Define that, right?
Makes sense.
One thing I was to say is if you have kids, even if they're in elementary school, if you want to get like, because I use a lot of lasers, so I use Illustrator a lot for stuff, and lasers are one of my main go-tos. And and what do you call it? If you go to, I get Illustrator for dirt cheap. Because I have 5 kids, and 4 of them still in school, so you can get an educational license, and it's like, or for the full Adobe suite, it's like $20 a month or $10 a month, something like that. It's dirt cheap if you want it. Now, you don't want to use it for like if you had a big commercial business doing tens of thousands of dollars a month, but even if you're doing little home projects, Adobe doesn't care. I've called them and told them when we were doing with our shop, just doing fun projects, and they didn't care. I was using an educational license.
Cool.
Yeah, and as far as design and stuff, Ching just asked if there's like a video from the whole process from beginning to end. So I dropped our YouTube in there. And Casey has some really good videos and some different projects and stuff too. And he's been working with us to kind of build out more of those. But you've got to the calibration part now. So as far as the design part, you'll want to look for tutorials that are on how to create SVG. And there's tons of those on YouTube on like creating files for CNC and stuff like that. There's all kinds of really good tutorials out there for whatever program that you want to use. And then once you have that, then you can use the steps that we have in Easel on like how to create that G code to get it set up. And some of the things that we're talking about right now, Easel's super simple to use, where you'll click on, your settings and you'll choose, just like we talked about, your bit, your settings, your speeds are, pretty much close to the default speeds are good for Easel as well. So, and then that's all set. But we are working on a video with some more for actual G code creation as well. And we're working on an article too, because there's so many different things to create G code out there. And one of the things that I really want is for Makerverse to be able to create G code. So we're working on that too. So you don't have to go to another place. And a future state of Makerverse is going to have G code in it, but it is a bear to get that to work properly when there's lots of really good open source resources that are out there. So we want to just kind of get it all together in one place though. So you can say, hey, if you're going to use, X program, you use X settings. If you're going to use Y program, use Y settings, and those types of things as well. So yeah, it kind of depends on what program you want to use in design and what program you want to use for your G code creation. And Easel is the easiest to get started with. And Easel even has like the box creation that Casey was talking about. Easel has like some basic design stuff in it. So you can make some basic shapes and designs and stuff like that in Easel, and then create your G code straight from Easel. So you could just start in Easel if you want and make your first project there. That's
might be what I do.
Yeah, and we've got some step-by-step instructions on our YouTube too. We've got some Easel basics, even though that's been updated. It's a little bit different, those videos that we have, because Easel updates periodically. but it's basically the same process. And then you kind of go through all the how you're going to set it up, and then your settings right there, choosing your bit, your depth per pass, which you always want to be half your diameter of your bit, and then your speed, which we recommend probably like 30 is probably really good to start at. And then once you've got those set, then you should be good to rock.
Awesome.
I'm
trying to log into my.
Y'all. Here a second. I think you'll like this. So one of my friends, Sharon and Toro, they have this shop, and what they do is they buy up all 18-wheelers full of all the Home Depot returns and surplus, and they sell it online for dirt cheap, like 40% off whatever the price is. And so if you go to, I think it's, I'm running down here. I was trying to find some parts. What's the website? It's SharonsDepot.com. But it's crazy. It's like pretty much all kinds of tools and routers and accessories and everything you could think of.
Collection. I saw some shop vacs over there too.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like as is though. So if it's broken, you're just out of luck. No. He does return. So if it's broken, they'll give you your money back. That's awesome.
And most of it, I come in here. So this is like my fun thing because he's right down the street from my shop. So, and right just on the street from my house. So I like hanging out and fixing stuff too. So
what's it called? Sharon's what?
SharonsDepot.com. And they sell a lot of stuff on Amazon and on eBay and stuff too. But I mean, you're talking filters, vacuum systems, tons of shop vacs, snow blowers, pressure washers. All kinds of chains, etc. All kinds of tools and stuff you'd use, like heaters for your shed. Like that's where actually that little heater I got that I'm showing you, I got it here. So, but anyway, all kinds of stuff.
I see a picture of the where you are right now on SharonsDepot.com. That's funny.
Yeah, so that's
great. So, what was that, Rob? Do you have a question?
Not yet. Sorry, I'm just getting logged into Inventum or Easel right now.
Okay, sweet. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
You have an account?
Just got it.
Okay, sweet.
Does anybody ever use these dust? So I have one of these. I just haven't used it because I have the other dust collector. But these little dust that go on the 5-gallon like Home Depot buckets.
I have one of those. It broke like far too easily.
Yeah, because I have the big old dust collector I got from thing. So I was just like, I just love it.
All right. New project. All right. Well, I'm plugged in. I have Easel up and running. And I guess I can turn my camera around real quick. Come on. All right.
So you're all calibrating everything, right?
As far as I can tell, I mean, the last I calibrated, it said it was 1 millimeter.
Okay. So that's great. That's the first step, just to make sure that you're at least under 3, which is good. Now you can see those things on the side there, like that tab on the side,
right?
All the way over. Yeah, those are your shapes and your designs and your basic shapes. You can choose, boxes from there, text, different things like that. You can choose some of their featured stuff and their featured designs. You can kind of choose one of those and then put it in your workspace.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. This is what I'm doing.
You can kind of like drag anything out there. And then you can see when you click on it, then you can see like right next to that shape is that box that Casey was talking about that shows your depth and your, the tabs and all that will pop up once you have a shape.
Glorious. All right. Well, I'm going to mute myself for a minute here and let's see what I can do.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah. The very first thing that I cut with my M2 was the shape of a dog bone with my dog's name in it. And I used one of the apps on that side. I just grabbed the dog bone and I drug it in, and then used the text editor, and put his name in there. That was the very first thing I cut. And it's funny, to this day, I still have it up on the wall up there. I don't know if you guys can see it behind the, it says Bubba's. That was the very first thing I ever cut, and I always keep it around in the shop. It moves from wall to wall, but I mean, that was the very first thing I ever used a CNC on.
That's cool.
Hey guys, I gotta go. I got a hard stop, and I got some phone calls going on, so I'll talk to everybody later.
Sounds good. See you, Casey. Good seeing you.
Bye, Casey.
All right, bye.
All righty. So does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to share? Any projects they're working on?
So I'm trying to reset up all my stuff, which is an absolute nightmare, moving everything and getting set up. I've spent 6 months doing it. I got to do all my updates. Yeah, I've got somebody that took over the warehouse, the building, which is nice. So they still give me access to I still have access to the warehouse because I'm just basically subleasing the building to them. But I'm so tired of dealing with moving everything back. It was just killing me because by the time I was paying insurance and electricity and everything else, it was almost $18,000 a month for the building. So it was
wow.
Yeah, it was. So now it takes a lot of stress off, but now just getting everything fit into the house and the garage. And I also have 5 storage units.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Yeah.
You've been moving quite a bit.
Yeah. I still got so much crap over there.
Rob, did you get it pulled up?
Yeah, I have it loaded.
Is that the computer that you're also zooming on?
No. So it's funny. I also used to run my own business, and I also downsized from a warehouse to my garage, like within the past year. And so I have all these like various and sundry computers that are left over from my old life, and this is the one that used to run my digital shirt printer. So it was good enough for that. I'll probably bring my.
Perfect for this.
Okay, great. Yeah, this is
I'm running old Core i5s and Core i7s. I'm running like 3rd gen and 4th gen Core i5s from my Maslows with 8 gigs of RAM.
Oh, right on. You got some space in there. And a little bug.
Yeah. I just picked that up this year. But yeah, I used to be a screen printer, and that's like my whole shop. And I cut everything manually before I made brackets and everything. But if you go to my Instagram page that I just started, it's only for documentation. It's not really for sharing, but feel welcome to share it. The next project I want to do is I built an Indian temple this year for one of my buddies. And my Instagram is Jagoff All Trades. And you'll see the temple that I built. And this guy basically, he brought me the pieces back from India, and he's like, I took this piece of MDF and cut it up so it would fit in my suitcase. And now all of his neighbors want them, and he wants me to kind of replicate the design and kind of do that with it. But I mean, it's tailor-made for the Maslow.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, especially if it's going to be like slots and cutting stuff out and fitting it together. Then, yeah, that's great.
Let's see here.
With that right there, you want to make sure your workspace is 4x8. Yeah, there you go. You see that right there.
Yeah.
And then over there where it says tiling, disable the tiling. Because what it thinks is you have a small CNC machine, so you need to tell it, no, this is 4x8. That's what we want. And then when you disable that, that'll set, and then that'll help you a lot.
4, 6, 7. Yeah, I think I'm just double checking my thickness on this stock. Let's see here. 4, 6.
Hey, Dustin.
4, 6, 3.
Hello.
Yeah, and we do recommend doing everything in millimeters for sure, because millimeters it all gets translated to millimeters in Makerverse too. Hey, Dustin, sorry about that. Didn't mean to talk over you.
Here we go. All right. Obviously, that's probably it's probably not where I want that in my workspace. So I can.
So here's the tricky part. 0 inside of Easel is the center, the exact center of your frame and your stock and everything else. So when you say, you know, when you set and calibrated and you found machine home and you tell it to go to machine home, that is 0. So that bottom left corner in Easel is actually the center of your stock.
Get out.
Does that make
All
sense?
right. Yes.
Yeah. So when you're going to make something, you can kind of move it around that space. You can even position it on top of that. So like you can drag it over the edges. You don't have to stay within that little boundary area. You can move it outside of that. So you can put it like right on there. Yeah. And then it'll cut like directly in 0. When you're going to cut stuff, as Casey was talking about a little bit ago, for, you know, furniture and things that you really want to fit together, the exact center of your frame is going to be the most accurate. And the farther that you get out to the corners, the less accurate it's going to get, just because of the way that the trigonometry works and the slack in the chains as it's moving around. Because it's wall mounted, as it's kind of moving down there, it can kind of tend to slant or kind of move to the side a little bit, or be a little bit wider, or a little bit squished, and things like that. By small increments, depending on your calibration. But it is going to be a tiny bit different on the, you know, the very bottom corners than it is going to be in the very center.
Is it because you're converting to radians, or is just how that works, and there's no like accounting for it, or
I can tell you there's a lot of accounting for it, and it is I'm not a math major and I'm not a programmer, but the stuff that I know about it from people who help develop it is that it is trying to calculate for a whole lot of different variables, and it's all based on the triangulation of where it is. So it's basically 2 different triangles that are put together, like 2 different right triangles, and its placement inside of those 2 different right triangles. So as it's moving around, it's trying to take in all these other variables as it's moving. So that's one of the ways about this design. Yeah, it's really sweet. So that's why it's like hanging on chains, and it's using these worm gear motors, because it's taking in like where it is in relation to it, because it doesn't have Z-stops. So it's calculating all of this based on where it thinks it is, instead of like a more traditional CNC machine where it would just hit those Z-stops and it would know where 0 is, and then it would go cut. It has to calculate not only where 0 is, but where it is in relation to 0. It's absolute 0 versus its relative 0. And that changes as it gets farther out on the sides. And there's some more in-depth documentation about it as well, especially in the Maslow forums, where they talk about like how it works. And it's really interesting and really cool.
So, all right, I got all this stuff loaded in. It's sitting on the board. I mean, all I would need to do is basically plug in my my router and the dust collector. What's my next step from here?
So once you've got it set, and you've got your depth per pass set and your bit diameter set, do you have both of those set?
Let's see. I think I'm running an 1/8 inch bit. Yeah. And then
and make sure your depth per pass is at least half of that.
Where?
And that's over on the right. You can change that. It's kind of like your cut settings, I think, is the little box.
Let's see. Over on the right. Oh, I'm sorry. You're looking at my face. How terrible. There we go. Let's see. There's what I'm using. And then depth per pass. Cut settings. There it is. 1.3.
It's going to be.
And you can turn off that automatic option there and switch it to manual.
Manual. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that'll help a lot.
All right. So 1.3 depth per pass. Plunge rate and feed rate seem excessive.
0.065.
0.065.
If you do, are you doing inches or millimeters?
Millimeters.
Okay, it's millimeters. I'm not sure the millimeter one off the top of my head. So yeah, as long as it's half, then you're good.
All right.
And then yeah, your feed rate, that's all fine, and plunge rate, I don't really change those. And then your I believe that millimeters a minute, that's probably 30 inches, I'm guessing.
Okay.
And then you have your bit set at 8, which is great. So then you're going to go over to the other tab to export it. So you can't run it directly from Easel. So you'll have to export it. So you click on that tab and then you'll click advanced and then it'll let you export it.
Let's see.
I can bring up Easel too, so I can.
Project. Wait, no.
And it'll say export G-code is what you want.
Project download G-code?
Yes.
Okay. Got
there
it.
You go. And it should be .nc. And then that is what you'll import into MakerVerse.
Oh, good. Error opening serial port.
Yeah.
No,
so
it's my computer.
Okay. Yeah, if that happens, if you have another program open, it might be fighting with the serial port. So you mentioned that you're doing screen printing. So anything that's using that a USB, a program that uses the USB, might be trying to fight with MakerVerse. So
I don't screen print anymore. This is
even if it's open in the background though, like a background process. So,
oh no, not.
Okay.
I mean, it's been wiped since then.
Okay, great. Yeah. So hopefully it'll connect. Like when I 3D print, Kira fights with me a lot because I forget that Kira's open, hidden, and minimized.
It did this to me before. I'll figure. I'll put myself. I'll figure it out.
This is one of the bugs that that is in this version of MakerVerse, and why one of the things that we're addressing in 2.0. You might have to restart your whole computer.
That's fine.
So
yeah,
it's probably got some sort of weird process in there. Like I have a MacBook Air that I use sometimes, and on my Air, sometimes it will decide like, nope, I'm not cutting anymore. Even if I just connected to it, it's like, nope, I can't find it. I don't want to connect. So I have to reboot my whole machine, and then it will find it instantly, and it's fine.
Yep.
And that has the way, it has to do with the way that it deals with the serial connections on there. It's why you also can't ever connect it to like a dongle or a third party like USB, one of those USB expanders or something like that, because it will get really confused about where it's sending the information back and forth, because it needs to constantly communicate and send information back and forth through the USB to run it. And if it doesn't get that, so like if your computer goes to sleep or it gets unplugged, your M2 is just going to stop wherever it is, because it just stopped getting its information. But it's going to finish its current G code. So if you said, hey, run 5 million millimeters, it's going to run 5 millimeters before it does something else. So that's why it's just going to go on and on and on and on and on, and why it's so important to monitor it and have a way to quickly turn it all off. So, have like a power strip or something like that, because if you realize that it's doing something you don't want it to do, and there's no like emergency stop. You can pause it, but it's not going to pause until it gets done with its current G code. There's not a way to do that just the way that these robots work. Once they have a command, they have to finish that command before they can do the next thing. So it's like, no, you told me to go walk off the cliff, I'm going. So you have to like completely cut power to it to get it to stop.
Like a Mr. Meeseeks almost.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing it. Yeah.
Exactly. I can't do anything else until I do this.
Yeah. You told me. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's why we always say to monitor and never leave it unmonitored, because if something goes weird, it could, it gets caught in a knot in the wood or something like that. It doesn't know. It's just continuing to send those G code commands. It doesn't know that something has gone on with it.
Right on.
But yeah, that should get you going, man. And a quick tip too, if you're ever worried that it might be out of calibration, just tell it to go to machine home. And if it doesn't go and line up exactly back in machine home where it's supposed to be, then that's why you painted on your chains and on your sprockets. So you can go back and reset your chain. So you'll just go through that reset chains procedure. So your sprockets get back to 12 and they're lined up perfectly with those marks. and then hit reset chains, and then that should solve your calibration issues. That's the most common like kind of recalibration step that sometimes you might have to do that after some code.
Cool. All right. I don't want to take over. I mean, I'll put myself on mute and we'll see if this all comes together, and I'll come back when I make some more progress here and let everyone else kind of talk a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. It's no big deal, man. That's why we're here to talk and hang out. So, and share some ideas and advice. So absolutely. No worries. You have the same one? Dude.
Yeah,
this is
I do.
my dad. This is my dad. It is my favorite thing that I own. It is. I love it. He like put it on wood, or somebody did a long time ago. So it's like on a piece of plywood that's maybe like 3/4 inch thick. And then they like lacquered it. So yeah, I love it. It's so cool. It's like the old like Led Zeppelin 1970s Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
So cool.
Yep, I have that down at the bottom of my stairwell. So come down from waking up every morning, I see that as I come down the stairs.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's so weird. It's got all kinds of like weird intricate stuff around the outside edges of like orcs and elves and the rings of men. Yeah, it's really rad.
Yeah, there's so much in it. Yep. And then Rob, I got a very similar Lenovo computer that I use for my M2 as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
I think I have an older version of it.
Where it turns off and won't connect?
No, I don't have any problem with it. I don't know. That's why I was like, oh man, I wish I had that experience so I can help figure out what your problem is there. I guess one of the things is, can you see it in your device manager right now if it's connected to the MakerMade?
So I had this issue initially, and I contacted MakerMade, and I felt like a dunce because I think, and the case may be here, I probably left this running for 2 days, and it just needs to be restarted anyway, just because it's an older computer. But I've gotten most of my buggy issues to go away simply by just allowing the computer to start up and like let it like get all the creaks out and like stretch and walk down the stairs slowly and stretch the walls and make itself a cup of coffee. Because otherwise, if I rush it, that's when I get these like, oh, it's not connecting. And I thought maybe like, oh, do I have to reinstall the Arduino, reinstall the Dewey board through the Arduino? And I tried. No, it was just being patient with my computer.
Yeah, I remember I upgraded my computer to a solid state like years ago, and I was like, "This is crazy! I don't have to wait 5 minutes."
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
But I don't want to bring it out to the garage, and I have an iMac, same deal, because they all have fans, and I don't want to get sawdust running through those fans.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. Is your screen a touch screen on your laptop there?
It is not.
Okay. So maybe I've got a newer version of it. I'm trying to figure that out. But that's one of the things I love the best about it is it's touchscreen. So I can actually just touch the controls on the Makerverse.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Makerverse 2.0 has nice big controls for touchscreens.
They're going to have buttons. It is going to have buttons. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we're working on, we just are onboarding a new developer right now for that. That's going to help. And I'm hoping that that's going to be ready to start testing in like, hopefully a couple of months. Hopefully. We're pretty optimistic about it, but I can't set anything in stone on the framework of it. When we have something that I can show you guys, I definitely will, because I'm one of the testers on it. So when I've got something to show you, I'll let you know. So cool. We'll be in this call.
I know she had Makerverse up. Were you still not seeing it?
No.
Did it work?
And again, I think it's just like giving it time. And when I first tried to connect my Maslow for the first time, it wouldn't even give me the machine library to find the correct machine. It wasn't giving me any Any devices
That
at
wasn't your
all?
fault. That was our fault. That was making.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it went down for like about a week.
Oh,
some libraries
all right.
that got updated, and it was a mess. So yeah, anytime
Must
you're
have been-
having something where it pops up something that's an error that says can't find this or invalid library or invalid grant or something like that, contact us and we can help you with some stuff, because it could be something on the software side, because it has to connect to its libraries to pull that information.
Right.
Default settings.
That makes sense.
You could try a different USB port too. If one of your ports isn't working, you could take it out and try another one.
Still, it's
you
just got a message in the bottom right.
It's the device descriptor request failed.
Device descriptor failed?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's saying device descriptor. Yeah, device descriptor request failed. You know what? I'm just going to try and restart everything and see if it happens. Try
something that's not as advanced, like a camera or something, and see if it connects to the USB port.
Let's see. How about my phone?
I have a question for you. Do you have your M2 powered on with its external power?
Yeah, it's connected to external power. Yes.
Okay. Turn off the power and then plug in your USB.
Turn off the power to my
to the motors. Yeah.
Okay.
And unplug your USB too.
And unplug your USB. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good thing to try, Dustin.
Turn everything off.
Then turn it back. It's powering the Arduino from your computer. So if you turn off the external power, it's like rebooting the whole Arduino. Let's see if that works for you.
Still got the error.
Did it again.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a lot of patience with this at this point. I can. That's something I can work through. I'm not worried about it. And the great part is we can meet next week and I can show you the progress I've made. So I'm not going to fret.
Great. Yeah, and if you want to, ever chat before then, you can jump into our owners group on Facebook. I'm trying to get in the forum way more often so we can be posting stuff and doing stuff in the forum as well, or send us a ticket if you have any issues and stuff.
Yeah, I think I talked with Joel about my other ticket.
Awesome.
And then
he is the resident expert of all things CNC and M2 and Maslow. Yeah, so that's perfect.
Right on.
Hey Rob, one more thing to try whenever you've got time to do it is open up your device manager on your computer then look at your USB connections and plug in the Arduino and see if you see it activate in there. And if it does, see if it shows any errors about it. You might be able to suss out and search on Google what the error is when this happens.
What operating system, what Windows is it?
There it goes. It's it's not a new one if I had to guess.
Is it 7?
It looks like 10.
Right. Let's see.
Yeah, it's definitely newer than 7. Yeah, I just saw your menu pop up right there. Yeah, if it's 10, then you should be fine. I'm just curious. Because I think, if I remember when I first started, we had some problems with Windows 8.
Oh.
But I don't have any Windows 8 machines. But I remember that we had somebody trying to use a Windows 8 computer. I remember that. That's just a thought that I had too. But yeah, checking and making sure that it recognizes the Arduino is definitely a good thing to try as well.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not really worried about it. I'm sure if I stop what I'm doing right now, turn everything off, turn the power off to the shop, go grab a bite to eat, come back, pull my head out of my ass. I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, well,
Drew and Dustin, thank you very much.
Sure. I hope you get this working for you real fast.
Yeah. Select device.
Shane, you got any final questions?
I was just going to say, I don't have anything to talk about today. I haven't had a chance to get outside. It's currently 12 degrees outside, so
Nice.
I'm not getting anything
Where are you,
cut right
Dustin?
now. I'm in
I don't remember.
Kansas City area.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm like 4 hours south of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like 10 degrees outside. In my shop, I have a space heater.
Yeah, I don't have anything like that.
That's why I'm inside. Yeah, we've got like 4 inches now. It's probably 5 since we've been talking because it's been coming down the whole time.
Oh, really? We haven't gotten nearly that much snow. I think we maybe got 3.5, and it's just cold. That's all it is right now.
It might be up to 10. It's not going to stop till like midnight. It's crazy. It shuts everything down here.
Wow. Okay.
Well, we'll get it working.
Your frame looks good. I like your layout of your vacuum hose.
Thank you. I'm going to build an arm up here, something to hold it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
I don't know if you've seen it, but Casey Connolly on the Facebook group has some screenshots of his. He's got a great little swivel arm up above his.
Okay. Yeah. I need to rejoin Facebook. That's my first hurdle.
Yeah, I know. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but the Facebook group is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Facebook group is great. Yeah, and we're going to have our marketplace, our re-energized marketplace is going to launch real soon too. That's going to have like those designs and things like that for upgrades and things as well. Because we had a Maker Marketplace, but it crashed on our old WordPress site and it was really buggy. So we have a new one that's about to launch soon that'll have stuff. So
that's awesome. Probably by the time I get, familiar with it, it'll be perfect timing, I'm sure.
Yeah. Sounds
cool.
Great.
You guys are rolling on a lot.
Thanks a lot for your patience, Rob.
Thanks, Drew.
And good luck making stuff and let us know if you need any help.
Cool. We'll talk soon. Take care.
All right. See y'all later. Have a good one.
You too.